This time I'd like to call the regular town council meeting to order on this June 2nd, at 7 p.m. So let us please stand for our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Lord, we invite you to this meeting tonight, and again, we ask for your wisdom, your guidance, and all that we do, except that it will benefit all the citizens of Nashville. Amen. The first item on our agenda is the approval of minutes for our May 5th meeting. Did you find any corrections to those? If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Minutes are approved. The next item on our agenda is the public comments. If you are signed up to speak about our budget, wait until we get to our open hearing to speak about the budget, please. The first person is Cynthia Lewis. Would you please come, state your name and address? Lucas, excuse me.
Hello, council members. My name is Cynthia Lucas, and I live in Regency Estates, just inside the city of Nashville. I told I had 3 minutes to do it, so let me get started. I'm here tonight to ask the council to address the issue of semi trucks being parked in residential neighborhoods, including on public streets and within street right-of-ways. While we respect the hard-working men and women who drive these vehicles and understand the important role they play in our economy, residential neighborhoods are not designed to serve as truck parking facilities. There are several reasons why this issue concerns me and my neighbors. First, safety. Semi-trucks create significant visibility problems for drivers, pedestrians, children, bicyclists, and emergency vehicles. When large trucks are parked along neighborhood streets, they can obstruct straight lines at intersections and driveways, increasing the risk of accidents, especially when children are playing in the streets. Second, quality of life. Residential neighborhoods are intended to be places where families can enjoy a peaceful, quiet environment. Large commercial vehicles can create noise from engines, refrigeration units, air brakes, early morning departures, and disrupt our nearby neighbors. Third, infrastructure impact. Neighborhood streets are generally designed for passenger vehicles, not heavy commercial trucks. The weight of these vehicles can accelerate wear and tear on pavement, curbs, drainage systems, resulting in higher maintenance costs that are ultimately borne by taxpayers. I see it every day in my neighborhood. Fourth, appearance and property values. Residents invest significant resources into maintaining their homes and neighborhoods. Multiple semi-trucks parked on residential streets can negatively impact the appearance of the community and may influence how prospective buyers see our neighborhoods. Finally, rights-of-ways are intended to support transportation, public safety, and utility access, not long-term storage for commercial vehicles. Allowing these areas to become truck parking locations can interfere with their intended public purpose. We respectfully ask the council to consider strengthening and enforcing regulations that prohibit the parking of semi-trucks and other large commercial vehicles in residential neighborhoods within street right-of-ways, except when actively making deliveries or providing services. And our goal is not to target truck drivers. Rather, it is to preserve the safety, character, and livability of our neighborhoods for all residents. I thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing, and I'm sure we'll look into it and just see, try to help you out.
Thank you.
Thank you. William Lucas.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I thought
James,
it was paperwork.
James Baker.
I live at 103 East Green Street, and I have lived there for the past 8 years. And shortly after the Georgian stump home behind me was sold to the Glasgow farm, the house next to me deteriorated over the next 8 years. And it was directly right behind my house, and zoning request was asked from going from R10 single to a business. And it was to become office spaces. Several of my neighbors attended the planning board meeting, and expressed they were opposed to the zoning request. After the listing of all the property owners, the planning board anonymously denied the request. And then I went before the town council at this time, and the council saw what Roswell Farms was completely altering the Georgian style home into something that was similar to their headquarters next door to them. And that was it. I was deeply disappointed of why did it not, at that time, was not retabled and went back to the planning board for review. But that wasn't even considered. Y'all just went ahead and ran it, and I really did not know what to expect. And at that time, and I tell you that nobody, everyone of y'all know how my house sets feet from the driveway and that garage. I mean, feet. I don't have any bearing. And just think about how would y'all like to be sitting out in the porch. I'm going to be hearing cars going in and out. Ms. Burns, I talked to you on the phone for 20 minutes, and you took down notes what we would consider that was acceptable at the time. And then when it became before you guys, and even y'all guys that first saw it, and y'all were wow. You didn't like it, especially whitewashing. The lady next door to me that lives on Lucille, she had read it in the paper, and even if the planning board was going to accept it, they were going to require a fence on both sides, and it was supposed to be a white vinyl fence. But at that time, it came back to being a rustic fence, and that would have really cost a house. But today I spoke to Mr. Taylor, and he assured me that the fence was going to be white vinyl, which I was going to glad to hear that. But like I'm saying, but it was supposed to be down both sides. And I just spoke to Ms. Eddie before I did a steady stricken up his own still. When the planning board even heard it, they said it needed to be on both sides if it was going to be granted. And the only other thing I can just say is that at the time,
3 minutes up.
okay.
But thank you so much for sharing your concern. The next person.
Excuse me, I didn't know we supposed to sign up to speak, but I have something to say on the matter. But the first woman that spoke on recency, I didn't know you had to sign up for this speech.
Okay. Just come on up and tell us your name and your address, please.
Excuse. Good afternoon. My name is Patricia Barber, and we live on 104 Queen Anne Avenue in Nashville. And I'm here to rebuttal what the first lady said about the semi-truck, 18-wheeler truck.
Yes, ma'am.
We own one of those, and we have lived there for 30 years. We never had a complaint. Our property is always clean and in order. We have had about 4 or 5 police officers come to our home, which is so embarrassing, like we have committed a crime. And we're just simply hardworking people trying to make deliveries and get back home. His destination from his business is from home to his, to business and back home to make another delivery. This has been going on for the last several weeks, calling and interrupting our life. It's just so embarrassing, and it's very upsetting to have to come down here and talk about this. I have no neighbors on my street that have an issue. And when he do come in, whether it's night or day, you can't hear him come in because he cut off the air pressure. So he won't disturb the neighbors that are sleeping. So the only thing we're doing is trying to survive in this society. Not to be harassed. Coming by my house taking pictures of a truck sitting and it's not bothering anybody. We have kids living next door across the street. They ride their bikes all the time. Through there and play to ride golf carts and everything. And our truck is not an eyesore to the public because it's a fairly new truck. And like I said, we keep up our property. So I don't know where all this is coming from or what is the problem with people trying to make a living. And maybe y'all could, do your investigation and let me know. Because as long as I've been there, it's not an HOA resident. The state property stops at when you come straight on first in Orange. It says the state end is there. So it's a private road. Private sector. But that's what we wanted to say tonight because I think it's so unfair for you to complain about something that does not have any bearing on what you want to do. I don't know what you want us to do. And from my understanding, she don't even stay on Queen Avenue. But yet you got all these complaints about what's going on. She passed my resident today taking a picture. And about 20, 25 minutes later, the officer chief came. I had a cookout. People with family, my little bitty grandkids, talking about the police is here. Well, and just to say about your truck. It's not a good look. We all try to be neighbors and help each other on that street. We look out for each other. We don't do this to each other, tear each other down.
Okay, you're 3 minutes out.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for sharing your
Thank
side.
you.
We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Chris Sandy.
Okay, I'm Chris Sandy, 720 South Body Street here in Nashville, Bill Wright Supply. It's a continuation of some of my speeches on We the People. And Ronald Reagan said the government is not the answer, it's the problem sometimes. Ordinances that we have in place, they have cause and effect. And we have to be very careful that we might want to kill the cow, but we get rid of the hamburger. And so we got to be really careful with that about how things go in place and how it affects business. I know in the signed ordinances we have now, it really affects businesses to be able to advertise and bring attention to what we are, which is small town America. We don't like to be look like in warehouse and everything hidden inside. And people need to see we're cause and effect type thing. People want to feel what's going on, but regardless of what your business is. And so also we look at these ordinances and stuff. We can't be selective with these. We can't pick and choose where we use them. So when we put something in place, we can say, oh, we don't just use it for this or for this business or this person or whatever. It's got to be for everybody. It's we the people. And that can be long-reaching. And I'm just asking, please pay attention to this and watch how that can positively or negatively affect business in our community, because there's some negative things going on right now that's hurting us. And we cannot misuse, abuse, or take these ordinances and misconstrue what they are. Use an ordinance for tomatoes with oranges. You just can't do that. And so some of that's been going on. And the appeals process is going to be talked about tonight, about raising these fees to appeal. In the average small business, I'm fortunate, luckily, yeah, I can afford it, but everybody can't. And so for people to be able to stand up and defend themselves, especially very small businesses or individuals, we just raised these fees last year from like $200 to appeal to like $325 or something like that. Now we're talking about going to $400 and $500. Even though I can afford it, $400 or $500 is a lot to say, hey, wait a minute, this is not right. So I ask that we take a real stiff moment and think about the cause and effect of things we're doing and what are we trying to attempt to do here and what's best for the people and for small business. It's these small businesses, I know my own, I had some rough times. Something comes up $100 and it can change your whole outlook for that month. And it's important to know that when a small business have to buy the stuff, house the stuff, sell the stuff, have all that responsibility, pay the taxes that go with it, and run the business. There's a lot on us where, unlike some businesses, organizations, money just comes in, you just figure out how you're gonna spend it. Is that me?
Your attendance is up, but
All right. Thank you so much. Please pay close attention.
thanks for coming and sharing. Louis, you wanted to speak about the budget and that,
I
and
got a comment on the public comment policy, and then I'd like to speak on the budget.
the budget you'll bring up when we have the other, would you come up and speak on the other?
So, Louis Smith, resident of Nashville, with the videos being on YouTube, and you're asking for the public comment for the residential addresses or the addresses, I just think that's getting kind of personal on the people. We signed up and put our addresses down, so it is part of the record. So with all the stalkers and this, that, and the other, then having that out there as a public record on the then that can cause some issue for some of our citizens. It's just a part from one of my things. Now, what I do think should be part of that to replace that, the name obviously, but I also think that maybe property owner, resident, business owner to give perspective to the comments. And so I just ask that you make some consideration to your public comment policy on that.
Thank you, Louis. Next is Larry. Larry, yours is on the budget. So could you wait till we get to the public hearing about our budget? Thank you. The next item on our I didn't omit anybody, I hope. The next item on our agenda is old business, the annexation petition. Randy?
Mayor and Council, we've received a completed annexation application from Vicky and Steve Sutton to annex their property at 1278 Red Oak Road into the town of Nashville. There's attached to that the certificate of sufficiency for that annexation. So the property right now is zoned A1, and they want to keep the property zoned that way, but to connect to the town's new water system that is now on Red Oak Road. So at this time, the council can open the scheduled public hearing on their annexation and receive oral and written comments on that annexation. And upon closing that public hearing, the mayor can call for a vote in favor of the council to approve ordinance 26-118 annexing 1278 Red Oak Road into the town of Nashville.
Do I hear a motion that we go into the public hearing concerning this annexation petition?
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Is there anyone that would like to speak to this in the audience? Well, if not, do I hear a motion to close the public hearing? Is there a second? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. So, at this time, we will approve the annexation with ordinance 2026-18. Do I hear a motion? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. The next item on our agenda is our budget for 27. So before we go over that and have our public hearing, I would just like to talk with you for my heart about some things. While creating the 2026-27, the council, department's head, manager, finance officer had really three main goals. We had others, but the main goals were to keep all citizens safe, to provide adequate services, to keep the great town of Nashville a place where people wanted to live, and to raise a family and work, and just enjoy the small town atmosphere of love, joy, and peace. It takes much more effort and more manpower, to keep our town safe than it did even 3 years ago. You just don't know. As you know, drugs are rampant in so many towns. We cannot allow this to happen to our good town of Nashville. Crime is up in neighboring towns. We again do not want this to happen to our Nashville. Again, manpower, equipment is needed to prevent us from being infested with crime. And let me say to the citizens that have discussed the budget with me, that's what they want more than anything, is to keep this town safe. Yes, it was necessary to increase the water and the sewer rates. We're dependent on Rocky Mount for a majority of our water and sewer treatment. They did not increase their rates last year, neither did we. But they did increase them this year, so we had no choice but to increase ours. We also had to build another fire station last year, and to keep the people in the area that were like 5 minutes their property. If we couldn't get to them, then their insurance went up. And we did have to hire one additional fireman, but we had to do everything we could to provide services for our citizens. I observed the town manager, the finance officer, the heads of the department putting effort and energy into this budget. Many times they were told to cut more, then even more. But again, have a budget that will keep our citizens safe and provide adequate services. The council also worked diligently during the budget work sessions. This was observed by the citizens that came to the meetings and also by the staff, the paper staff that was here each time. Again, they too wanted Nashville to be a safe town and able to provide services needed. And the goal was to keep a balanced budget. Remember, the town council, we're citizens too. So every time an increase is made, it just does not affect you. It affects us also. But to keep Nashville a great and safe place to live in, the taxes had to increase a minimum amount. Remember, we are here for you and we try to do what's right for all citizens. So I just felt to tell you that from our hearts and watching the people work diligently on this budget. Council, do you have anything to add?
I agree with everything you said. I just have one potential correction. I believe that Rocky Mount did increase their fees by 8% last year, but we absorbed that. We did not pass it on to the consumer.
It was a year before they didn't increase.
It was 2 times. It was last year 8%, the year before 8%.
Okay.
But we never passed it on to the end consumer. And so those came out of our enterprise fund balance, and we just cannot continue to do that.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else have anything to say? Okay, if not, Randy, do you want to? Most of you have seen the budget. Wasn't it put online for people?
It was, and it's on the table here tonight. People may follow along if they choose to. The town clerk put a nice table of contents on it, listing the major parts of it. But so the budget that's proposed this evening for FY 26-27 fiscal year, it is a balanced budget as required by North Carolina General Statute 159.8. This proposed budget does include a 2-cent tax increase to the town's tax rate, which would take it from 59 cents per hundred to 61 cents per hundred, and a 15% increase in water and sewer rates. And as was just mentioned, we've absorbed the last 2 years of rate increases from the city of Rocky Mount, and unfortunately this year it wasn't in the cards to absorb that anymore. Anyway, the town water rate will increase 83 cents from $5.50 per 1,000 gallons to $6.33. The base water rate will increase $2.84 from $19 to $21.85. The in-town sewer rate will increase $1.80 from $12 per 1,000 gallons to $13.80. The sewer base fee will also increase. It says $5.86. I think it's $4.30 something. From $29 to $33.36. The budget overall is $17,440,000, which is about $822,000 more, or 4% more than the adopted budget in 2026, which was $16,618,000. The council has established a fiscal goal of maintaining the general fund balance that is equal to half the general fund's annual expenses. This proposed budget does achieve that level of fund balance with a projected ending fund balance of $5,712,000 compared to $5,072,000 for half a year's general fund expenses. And again, per NC General Statute 15912, public notice on the proposed budget was published in the May 21st, 2026 edition of the Nashville Graphic, as well as posted on the town's website and social media. And upon conclusion of the public hearing, the council may consider adoption and approval of ordinance 2617, approving the town's FY27 budget, which begins July 1st, 2026 and ends June 30th, 2027.
Any comments, council? Do I have a motion to open the public hearing concerning the budget? Is there a second? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Louis Smith, you are on this list, if you'd like to go and speak.
I'm the same person I was a few minutes ago. I am here to say that as a local government retiree, I understand local government finance. I'm also a local government retiree who has not had a raise since 2014. However, I do support the budget that is presented. And I know there's a lot of discussion about raising the water rate to 17%. I do support that because I'm also a volunteer with this fire department here in town, and I serve this community, and I know that our water system is failing. We had a leak, we had a lot of problems with it, no fault of our public works department. Jason, I want to make sure you hear me that I completely support the public works, I completely support the fire department, but I'm tired of our infrastructure failing, and I do support us moving forward to support our public works, our police, our fire. Nobody wants to go up in prices. However, I also don't want us to have fire and have a liability situation where we don't have water, and then we got insurance claims because of negligence on the town. And what's that doing to our fees, and what's that doing to our insurance as well? So I do hope that we are going to take advantage of some of these properties that we've been gifted for wells, explore adding the wells. The more wells we have to get ourselves back closer to being self-sufficient with our water system will not let the city of Rocky Mount, which I'm retired from, dictate how we do with our water rates. The water rates we're very dependent upon them. What happened with our previous leadership and the fire station, as you mentioned, that was kicked down the road and kicked down the road, and the cost went up, up, up. Build the water tower, buy the land, get ready for the future of the station, the fire station, public safety complex, and go ahead and let's move this town forward. We cannot keep having development without moving the town forward as well. I'm probably the elephant in the room on this comment, but it is what it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. Larry?
I'm Larry Hyde, I'm a citizen of Nashville. This previous gentleman, he shared a lot of what I had on my mind. It bothers me that this town is so dependent on Rocky Mountain. Years ago, Rocky Mountain was known as the city of the rise. I'm sure it's on the rise. If you think it's on the rise, go over there and ride around and look. Maybe on the dive, but it's not on the rise. Things going on over there with their castle. We all hear the news, well, I don't know exactly what's going on, but we have got to figure out a way. The council's got to figure out a way. I know we can't become independent like overnight, but maybe start something, build, add wells if possible, that would have to be possible if we can. 1 or 2 a year, whatever, you know. And over a period of time, it might be, we could break away from Rocky Mountain. I'm afraid that they may go under, they got people watching them every day. You hear it in the news, but not telling anything that's not done. I just encourage you to try to figure out some way to gradually start breaking away from Rocky Mountain, depending upon them. Because don't worry about the price of going up, because it's going up. It's hopefully just once a year. There's no telling what's going to happen over there. And so that's what I got to say.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. Who else would like to speak? Okay, Virginia.
Virginia Budzinski, 400 East Church Street, Nashville. Good evening, Mayor, members of Town Council, Town Manager, and fellow residents. I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight regarding the water and sewer rate increase affecting the residents of Nashville. I also appreciate the response I received from Councilwoman Kate Burns. And I also appreciate the comments that the 2 gentlemen before me had made. Like many citizens, I understand that utility systems cost money to operate and maintain. I understand that there are times when increases are necessary because of infrastructure improvements, treatment costs, inflation, or environmental requirements. Most residents are willing to support reasonable increases when they clearly benefit the community and are directly tied to actual service costs. However, what concerns many of us tonight is that this proposed increase appears to be tied not simply to the cost of providing water, but the financial problems recently uncovered in Rocky Mountain. Public reports, state audit findings, and news coverage have described serious financial management problems within the city of Rocky Mountain, including overspending, declining reserves, and broader financial instability. The concern being raised by Nashville residents is simple and fair. Why should Nashville residents, seniors on fixed incomes, and local businesses be expected to absorb increases that may be helping another city recover from financial problems unrelated to the actual cost of our water service? Nashville residents did not create Rocky Mountain's financial situation, yet we are being asked to shoulder part of the burden through higher utility bills. This issue is especially important because utilities are not optional expenses. Every family needs water. Every senior citizen needs sewer service. Every small business depends on these services to survive. A 15% increase may not seem significant on paper, but for working families, retirees, and people already struggling with groceries, insurance, taxes, and housing costs, it matters. I understand that these increases have already been scheduled to be implemented, and I respectfully ask this council to provide complete transparency to the public. Specifically, what portion of this increase reflects actual increases in water production and delivery costs? What portion may be tied to Rocky Mountain's broader financial recovery efforts? What protections exist for Nashville residents under the wholesale agreement? And what long-term alternatives are being explored so Nashville is not entirely dependent on one supplier? Residents deserve clear answers before being asked to pay substantially more each month. I also encourage this council to advocate strongly on behalf of Nashville citizens and not simply pass these costs along without challenging the justifications behind them. We should not be bullied by the city of Rocky Mountain. This is not just a budget issue, it is an accountability issue, it is a fairness issue, and it is a quality of life issue for the people who live here in Nashville and pay their bills every single month. Perhaps we as residents of the town would like to have these concerns brought to the attention of the state legislature and our local representatives for more answers. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next, who else would like to speak? We appreciate your input, and we certainly understand where you're coming from, and we feel the very same way, and we're going to strive to be as proactive as we can with the money we have to get us in a better position. So, but thank you very much. If no one else, yes, Randy.
Mayor and council, if I may point out, on the table,
Yeah.
we had a letter that the Nashville Town Council posed to the Rocky Mount City Council back in March. You know, first of all, asking again the reasons for their rate increases and how they came up with those, and why, if we're a wholesale partner of theirs, are we being asked to have a 15% increase. And then we also reached out to Senator Lisa Barnes, who proposed legislation regarding the taking of money from their electric fund to support their general fund. And there's one other document. Oh, I think it was the email that we actually got from Benton Brent, Rocky Mount's Water Resource Director, informing us of the increase. And you are right, it went into effect July 1st. And our residents, if this budget is approved, will see it on their July water bill that they pay in August.
So we encourage you to take a copy of those two letters so you know what we have done as a council, and maybe what we can do as a town going forward.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
for the benefit of the public, the letter that Mr. Lansing just spoke about, I personally, along with several of our department heads, went to that March 1st meeting in the city of Rocky Mount and presented this letter to them after we had already sent them a text message notifying them of our standings and how we felt about it. I stood there and I spoke on behalf of this entire town, and to put it bluntly, I think it went through one ear and out the other, straight across their head. They paid me no mind. I even had one of the council people in Rocky Mount later on during that meeting to come to me and said he was ashamed of me. And I asked him why. He said, because he came up here and put all this stuff in the streets in front of their board and their council, when I could have picked up the phone and called him personally. Well, my response to him, you got the letter last Thursday, why didn't you pick up the phone and call us? Which they failed to do. And that's what this believe it or not, the question that we asked, that was presented as to provide justification. As far as I know right now, Randy, we have not received any response to any of those requests, have we?
We have not.
And we've followed up several times.
And we followed up several times, so. Yes, we are.
We did try to stay out of jail.
Pardon me, you said jail, you got to, what'd you say? Oh, okay. Most of you know I'm in law enforcement. You say jail, my ears kind of hurt. Didn't want to go myself. But anyway, this council has done everything we could to try to reach a happy medium with the city of Rocky Mount, because I don't think it's fair for us to try to help them pay off the bad decisions that they've made already. This budget, like the mayor said before, we've looked at this budget hard. We've asked all our department heads to cut, and then the last meeting go back and cut again. And you can only cut for so much till we start bleeding what we can't recover. If you remember, if you've been in Nashville long enough, if you remember 2 years ago, we lowered the tax rate from 61 to 59, which we never should have done. We should have kept it at 61. So now we're at the position now we've got to go back to that 61 cents per thousand to just make things work. Everything is costing. The fire department costs us a lot. Fire apparatus is going through the ceiling. Our town hall, we've already outgrown it. Police department needs more space. The fire department could use some more. They got the fire department, the new fire department fire station, so they're in pretty good shape. Employees, with all this other stuff we're taking on, people don't want to work free. We've got towns like Zebulon, Wake Forest, even Few Break Arena. All we're doing is, because of pay scales, and that doesn't apply to me. Because of our pay scales, we are training policemen, we're training firemen, and then a Wake Forest will come there and offer them a salary that young families cannot afford to ignore. So we train them, and they take them away from us. And it costs us twice as much to retrain another fireman, another police officer, to go to another, to fill that vacant spot. So believe it, we have done all we could to try to keep this new budget as slim and trim as we possibly could and not cut our throats so we have to go back to you next year. We don't know what next year's gonna bring. We don't, and I've already asked Randy, we need to start digging some more wells. At one time, we had 5 or 6 wells. And right now, we had 6 wells at one time. 7?
Yeah.
Okay, 7. Well, right now, we've got 3,
But only 2 are online.
but only 2 are online.
One's got PFAS.
So we've got to dig some more wells. But digging wells is not cheap. Putting up new water towers is not gonna be cheap. But we have to try to stay ahead of the curve so we don't just bombard you with rate after rate increases. So that's what this budget is all about. And for those of you who came up and spoke tonight, I thank you so very much. Makes me feel like you are standing behind what we are trying to do. I see a hand in the audience.
I just wanted to make one comment. I did reach out to Lisa Barnes' office again because I was aware of the the electricity thing. Because we get natural gas from Rocky Mountain. And so, they were out of town. They've been out of office until yesterday. So, I think as residents of Nashville, I think we all need to just start reaching out to Lisa Barnes because she's always been very supportive of our town. And she's always been very responsive to our requests and she'll usually get back to you. So I think, especially with the election year coming up, I think it's very important that we all do reach out to her with our concerns, especially about what's going on at Rocky Mountain and how it affects us.
I thank you for what you're saying. We've all got to work it. We've all got to work it.
And you know, I have to say on behalf of our department chairs, heads, that during this budget, I could see the true love they have for our town and how they want to provide the services. And bless their hearts, they had to keep cutting and cutting and cutting. And, but I'm sure they got ill with having to cut so much, but they stayed very professional and they are a group of fine professional leaders. Anybody other comments?
Yes, Maureen Peacock, Nashville resident. We all love Nashville, that's why we're here. And if I could speak to your comment about the training of the police officers and fire departments, if you could put in a caveat that they serve in our town for a year or 2 after the training, that would help keep them here as they establish their family in our town. So we don't lose them after you put the money in to train them.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay.
Hey, Linda Wells, Nashville. I just have a question. You know, if you go down to the bank and you rob the bank, what happens to you?
Well, you get caught and go to jail.
You go to jail. But then who is going to be held accountable, or do y'all know at this point? Is anybody in Rocky Mount going to be held accountable to where all that money has gone? I think that's what is very, and I know it's disturbing to y'all too, but I think that's what's disturbing to everybody that works so hard in our town to keep our town honest and, like you said, a good small town. But then we have to pay for people taking, and we know that money is somewhere and somebody knows where that money's at.
Or it may be gone and not be there at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's gone. That's for sure. It's gone. It's gone. But somebody knows where it's at. And I just didn't know if it's gonna ever be any resolution to what has happened down there with that money.
Ms. Wells, I hope so.
I know that a lot of the citizens were hoping with the second audit, you know, that things would really happen, but they were given a opportunity to straighten it out, from my understanding. So I don't know what to say about that.
Mayor, a lot of the discussion that's being had on tonight, believe you me, was had during our budget workshops. A lot of the options what could be done, how could we move forward, and not be treated as a lesser of the partners with Rocky Mountain. I don't want to bash anybody, and I don't think that's necessarily what we're here to do because we're dealing with the national budget. However, a lot of these options that we're talking about, I promise you was discussed in our budget workshop meeting. How to get more water sufficient, how to bring more wells online, public safety, how to get more people trained and retained. Because we don't want to just train, we want to retain. So when we look at a lot of these objects and a lot of these things that are moving parts, we have, I promise you, gone through everything that we could possibly go through, inclusive of reaching out to some of our local representatives and looking at also the state audit and things of that nature, so that we are not just being tossed around as a small town entity. So trust me when I tell you, everything has gone up, if I could be honest. Everything has gone up. And we had no choice but to do what we did. And I don't like it. I don't like it. One of the questions that I kept asking was, what about the least of these? What about the folks that can barely pay the rent now? What about the folks who's got to buy medication? What about the folks who've got to feed children? It is what it is. And we have scratched our heads. And as your representatives for the town of Nashville, I assure you, the mayor, the town manager, the clerk, finance department, department heads, all of the council, we put our heads together. And this is the best that we can come up with. The absolute very best. Mr. Hyde.
Do you have any plans to build a new well this year or next year? Concrete plans to actually start. Just talk about doing it.
I will digress to our town manager.
So with the Breedlove subdivision, or the Harvest Creek subdivision that was recently built by Marv Sharon, he reserved a 1 acre lot in that subdivision for a future well. So we have our well company under contract right now to do a Geo Explorer on that. We hope to have that back in August, and that'll tell us if it's a good site for a well, and then we can do a test well drill. So as far as solid plans, we don't have a project ordinance for that project yet, but we are working on that.
One at a time. That's
Randy,
all
can
we
you-
do.
Can you just tell the audience exactly what goes into obtaining, we have to obtain the property, we have to do the testing, and money amount, how much each well potentially would cost?
Yeah, from the time you buy the land and site the well, we're probably looking at $700,000 to $850,000 for a new well. And I don't know if any of you remember when the town bought the Cook Road property out on Cook Road, they did a test well out there. Unfortunately, that one didn't pan out, and we ended up having to abandon it. But we spent some pretty good money on that. But that's the risk you take when you go after wells. Chief Joyner, did you have something?
Yes, remember we've had discussion. We've had discussion also because of the 4.5 acres at Station 2, and looking at putting the well at the back of Station 2 also. So that has been discussed also as a spot we can go.
So I want to recap a couple of things I think are important to hear. We rely on Rocky Mountain for water in about 75% of what, right, Andy? And our sewer is at 100%. So we rely on those two things for Rocky Mountain, which we're called a partner, but we're really not a partner. We're a slave to the owner. And our infrastructure is 50% lifetime is already past its lifetime. So those are huge issues we have to deal with in the next 5 years, 10 years, 1 year. So make sure everybody understands that.
Anybody else? If not, do I hear a motion to come out of the public hearing? Second, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. So at this time, do you approve the ordinance 2026-17 adopting the 27 budget and associated fee schedule?
I have one quick correction to the fee schedule. On page 45,
The budget.
yes, 45 of the budget book.
Okay.
Nope, sorry, it's 45 of our agenda book. It's gonna be the same. When we talk about, the town's public works director may charge an additional fee, so if we have a special pickup. Oh, that
Well,
was-
Jason's not with us this evening, but one thing I'd like to propose to the council when it comes, and we had passed out, and hopefully everybody in the audience had a chance. One of the proposals staff is proposing with this budget is to change up a little bit how we do yard waste collection and bulk item collection, and then to establish a new pickup for electronic devices. Nash County is not allowing Nashville residents to take electronic devices to its convenience centers anymore for disposal and recycling. So we can do the same thing. We can collect those, and then when we get enough, we'll get hold of the same vendor Nash County does and have those picked up. But on the yard waste, currently that's picked up weekly. What we're proposing to do is go the first and third week of the month with a yard waste collection. No fee, that's included in your sanitation fees. On the bulk item, right now, we do that every Friday. And people call in with their bulk items, and then, the guys go out and pick them up. But again, we want to streamline that by not doing it every Friday, but do it once a month. And then have a fee for the bulk item, because we do have to take those to the transfer station and pay to have those disposed of. So the fee that came up with for bulk item, what's proposed is $25 for one bulk item. Well, I think we need to maybe not adopt this part of it tonight if you're so inclined, and come back with a better volume measurement, some visual that residents can know. What do I get for $25? Is it a half a pickup load? Is it 4 cubic yards? 4 cubic yards is a measure some other towns use, but again, it's hard for the average resident to know what a 4 cubic yard volume looks like. And I think everybody can relate to half a pickup load or a full pickup load. We also add in here house cleanups, and more I thought about it, I don't know if the town of Nashville wants to get in the business of taking away refuse from an entire house cleanout. I think that's why we have GFL, that's why we have Top Dog disposal and their dumpster fees. And it would be my recommendation to the council that we limit it to bulk items of a certain volume for $25 and another volume for $50. If you have more than that volume, then you need to get hold of Top Dog or GFL and have a dumpster delivered to your property so you can continue.
If I may, I think, with all due respect, I think this item is outside of the budget. We need to go back to our motion.
Well, I think this is in the budget, no?
Well, the fee schedule is, but if you want to pull
So if we can
something
pull the
out,
fee schedule out just for that item, then we can talk about that after, and we can just adopt the budget.
and we can have it on the agenda for the June 17th meeting.
Because that was exactly my concern. I wanted to say that they could change it for size or weight. So if we want to just pull that out, then let's just adopt the rest of the budget.
I agree. Let's pull that out and readdress it at a later date.
So,
Are you pulling the yard waste out? The yard waste thing was tried many years ago. And it was the biggest mess you can imagine. Going every 2 weeks with yard waste needs to be picked up every week. You wait 2 weeks, people can't keep up with it, you have holidays, and it's a big mess. I'm old enough to remember. And that's why they went to once a week.
We'll revisit the fee schedule in entirety. How about that? Okay. And I make a motion that we adopt the budget, and we'll discuss the fee schedule.
is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of adopting the budget for 2026, 27, except for the fees that we're going to revisit, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so very much.
Citizens, we thank you.
We sure do. We really do appreciate you. The next item on our agenda is our budget amendments. Budget amendment number 18.
Mayor, we're skipping around a little bit, but that's fine. Let's take
What
the
did that
budget amendments.
Well, we sort of went into the two other ones with the
The
yard,
electronic device collection.
electronic and the yard waste in the middle.
Yeah, we kind of got ahead of ourselves with some of that discussion.
We're waiting on those.
It's okay, go ahead. I was thinking we had skipped something.
So, I don't know where we are right now.
What about the electronic?
Randy, where are we?
So it's item 7B, the top of the second page.
The electronic device,
Yes, and like I said, we talked about it. We talked about it a little bit already.
but we went on to the other stuff and didn't approve that. Okay, so I need to have a motion.
So that's a new fee.
Right,
And the Public Works proposes a curbside collection of electronic devices, TVs, computers, monitors, tablets, gaming systems, by appointment the first Friday of the month with an advance payment of $5 per device.
and that's because they charge us to dispose of it, is that correct?
Yeah, it's just a pass-through.
So just for clarification of the citizens also, they have to come down and pay the fee first and then schedule it, or,
Yes.
okay, they don't just stick it out there?
Well, if they do, we won't take it until somebody pays the fee and schedules
That's
it.
kind of problematic.
Can you
Well-
not just put it on the?
I was gonna say, we have tossed around the idea of adding a fee to their bill. Adding the fee to their bill and they pay for it on the following month. But if somebody leaves it out there,
Does our Public Works
We
have a
need-
ability to keep track of that on the road? I mean, are they able to?
Well, that's why if somebody pays the fee, then it'll get scheduled, from town hall. We'll
I
send
understand that, that's easy,
work order.
but people don't know that, and they're gonna put it out there.
Mayor, one thing, if I may interrupt the meeting, with Councilmember Xavier leaving, could you have somebody recognize the fact that he's leaving and excuse him?
Okay,
Do I have to make a motion? Yes.
okay,
I make a motion that Xavier is excused.
is there a
Has left-
second?
It's a second, and for the public, he's leaving not because he just wants to leave, he has some medical issues
Right,
that he's dealing with at this time.
okay.
Maybe let's see the game, I don't know.
Okay, so we're on the electronic
Do we need
device.
to vote on that? Do we vote on that?
No, we haven't voted on
Not
that.
the one on the Canadian, do we need to like finish that? Yeah. We didn't finish it.
We're all in favor.
All those in favor of Xavier leaving?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, but saying aye. Motion carries. So,
so Bill, I was gonna say, Luke can go ahead on and put on the website that effective as of July 1st, we will start charging $5 for the pickup electronics, and it will stay on the front of our website. And we can post it in the newspaper.
and we put it on the electric bills too?
We can do all of that, but we cannot make anybody read their bill or the newspaper.
Or
So
through emails and text.
And
there it is.
the other thing,
With the paper.
like I said, the whole house clean outs and the electronic devices, when people move by the darkness of night, they don't intend to pay anybody anyway.
Can you be signed up on through the website, and pay online instead of having to go to town hall?
Yes.
If we're gonna move us forward?
If y'all are in favor, if everybody's in favor of putting it on the bill, we can just add it to the bill and move on.
That's right.
But if somebody leaves, then it may get passed on to the homeowner if it's a rental property.
That's okay.
I don't-
But our guys have the ability to do that, keep track of that on the road? I mean, I guess, put paper or computer or.
Well, the work order system is, the guys are picking up, they're in the field, so I don't know, it's gonna be a trial and error to see how that works out. I did tell Jason he needs to take pictures because it'll be, I didn't leave it out there, or you're charging me and it wasn't there, so it's gonna be a lot of back and forth.
All of them have a phone to take a picture with?
They do have a phone, I'm just saying that that's gonna be, we really
It
don't have a
sounds
lot of
simple, but
manpower.
it's not.
So me and Jason have discussed, we're going to go around and take pictures of the electronics. We're going to have it placed up on the thing. When folks come in, they can say, I've got TVs, microwaves, computer screens, anything electronic like that. And the ladies at the front desk, they will write it up and send it to town hall. We're out in the field, we're gonna take notes of it, where it's at and the address, and make sure the customer is being, having to pay for it before we can pick it up.
Thank you, Chad.
If that makes any sense.
No, makes sense.
It does, Chad.
It's something we're trying out new, and we just have to work and see how it works out. If it doesn't work out, then we'll revisit it and make corrections.
And I guess you can see what's happening to our maintenance department is we're growing and we don't have funds to hire more people, so we're trying to cut back to serve all the citizens, but we can't do everything that we always did at the same pace without hiring people. So we need to vote on this to implement the collection and recycling of electronic devices the first Friday of each month by approval with a $5 collection and recycle fee. Do I hear a motion to approve that?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The yard waste, we're gonna revisit. And all those. So we're now at budget amendment 18.
Good afternoon. Budget amendment number 18 is to close Fund 71, which is an old sidewalk fund. Has a balance of $4,415, which will be moved back to the general fund.
Do I hear a motion to approve the budget amendment number 18, closing out Fund 71, an old sidewalk project fund, and transferring the $4,415 balance back to the general fund?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
The next budget amendment number 19.
Budget amendment number 19 is for the farmers market. They received $500 from Sheets to support the mud market. Budget amendment number 19 increases FY26 revenues and expenditures by $500.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Budget item number 20.
Budget amendment number 20, Walmart donated the Town of Nashville Police Department $2,000 during their grand reopening. These funds will be used to purchase supplies for the cook truck program. Budget amendment number 20 increases both revenues and expenditures by $2,000 for FY26.
Do I hear a motion to approve this amendment?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Can I just get an explanation as to what that is?
Yeah, I think we have Chief Shockley here this evening, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you the mic.
So about a year ago, we started a cook team, mainly going out and cooking for operations such as the child predator operation, or if a natural disaster occurs, we go out and cook for them. No tax dollars have gone into it whatsoever. It's solely been either from LESO funds, so selling procurement equipment for the military, or grants like this for Walmart. Just a way to give back. The plans to start doing a little bit more in the community in certain areas, but as we're getting it off the ground, we still have to get the supplies for it.
Thank you for your explanation. Do I hear a motion to approve amendment 21, or did we approve?
I think we did.
We did, okay.
Budget amendment number 21, I do have one correction. It shouldn't be fund balance, it's going to be insurance claim reimbursement. We'll get it correct. Budget amendment number 21 appropriates.
Go ahead, yeah.
Budget amendment number 21 increases revenues and expenditures by $102,629 to cover the cost of the cross-connection reimbursement, which we will be reimbursed by the insurance company. So that's why it's not going to come out from that. It's going to be reimbursed back from the insurance company.
Do I hear a motion to approve budget number 21? Second. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
And that concludes our agenda, and I would just like to say thanks to each one of you for coming out, for speaking and caring. I'd love to see you all out at all the meetings, but thank you for coming out anyway, and we do appreciate it. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is adjourned.
Chief Shopman.